Tonight, government will seek Parliament's approval to extend the state of emergency until May. A move to comply with COVID-19 protocols has set vendors in the city in uproar. And Prime Minister Alan Chastanet and Minister Guy Joseph say work is moving rapidly at St. Jude as finishing bits are in progress.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Friday, the 5th of February, 2021. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. Come Tuesday, the government of St. Lucia will seek parliamentary approval to extend the current state of emergency declared on the 3rd of February to the 16th of May 2021. A sitting of the House of Assembly is scheduled for Tuesday, the 9th of February at 10 a.m., where Prime Minister Alan Chastanet will put forward the motion to extend the state of emergency for a period of 90 days, commencing on the 11th day of February and ending on the 16th of May 2021. The government's senior communications officer, Nicole MacDonald, explains that the state of emergency does not necessarily mean that the curfew or current COVID-19 protocols will all remain in place for 90 days.
You can remove the curfew and still have a state of emergency. The state of emergency would just allow you to bring the curfew back if you need to. So as we see numbers go down, I'm sure the government will review, the CMO will review and make a decision as to whether the curfew can be lifted.
MacDonald says experience has shown that the government has acted responsibly and made prudent decisions during a state of emergency.
If we go back through 2020, there have been times when St. Lucia has been under the state of emergency. We first put it in place from March 23rd to April 26th. Then we thought a further extension from April 27th to May 31st. We also had a 3-month state of emergency from June 1st to September 30th. And at that time, if St. Lucians will recall, the government adjusted the operations. We adjusted the curfew. So there was a level of flexibility in terms of the protocols and the measures which were implemented or pulled back on at that time. So I just want people to understand that the state of emergency does not mean that your business will not open. It does not mean that the curfew will stay for the full 90 days. Everything the government has done so far has been on the advice, on the science coming from our medical professionals.
MacDonald says the current protocols under the COVID-19 Act will be reviewed next week as scheduled.
Even while we're under the state of emergency, we also have the COVID-19 Act. Now, right now, under the COVID-19 Act, there are certain businesses that are not allowed to operate up until February 10th. These are things that the command center reviews on a regular basis in order to make a decision as to whether we should pull back or whether we can provide some flexibility. Now, the command center does advise cabinet. So in terms of the measures, like when it comes to the alcohol ban that is now on, this ban is on up until February 10th, at which time, there will be an announcement as to the way forward.
According to the senior communications officer, at this juncture, stakeholders all agree that the state of emergency is necessary and says it has proved to be an effective measure in countries the world over. An Active Hill resident is counting herself lucky following an incident that took place near her home. What was thought to be stones being thrown at her house turned out to be bullets that miraculously spared her life. Nisha Charles tells us more in this report.
I know these police are afraid of the people down there or around there. That's what I should say. Because all the time something is happening. All the time things are happening. They ask me, is it Vietnam we live in?
That was Leclerc resident Petra George as she recounted an incident that she will never forget. George told Hot 7 News that earlier this week, the hand of God was upon her. According to the woman, residents in the area have been committing offenses which they believe are harmless, but unbeknownst to them, are causing residents like herself grief. On the day in question, a stray bullet entered George's house while she lay in bed.
I was on my bed the day before, and my daughter still told me, "Mommy, you didn't hear that?" I tell her what? I tell her, yes, a stone. She tell me a stone. She tell me, So I myself saying all of my hearing things, stones sometimes flying all over, but the thing is that I would not believe it's a stone that did that. But when I see the shot on the floor, then I get to know it was a bullet. Because the people around are always bursting shots. Always bursting shots. Yeah. So it's when I see that, then I get afraid. I feel fearful. I say, no, let me take that further. Yeah. And then we decide to go to the station.
George says that shots being fired in the area are nothing new. But this time, the perpetrators went too far.
I have my father close there on the side to been by Rumbali to bury my father since Christmas Eve he died. I supposed to be, so which means I would have two deaths. Yeah. When I prepare to bury my father and myself, I would get a shot on my bed.
Her daughter Onika is disheartened by the incident.
I could have lost one of my family members there, and seeing that I actually just lost my grandfather. I actually was there with him when he passed away. And I'm seeing the bullet actually was inches away from the next partition where my mother was already laying in her bed. And if the bullet had just gone 2 inches beyond that, I would have lost my mother. You understand? And I think that some people don't think about what they do before they do it. Yes, you want to burst a creepy for your birthday, whatever the case is. Do it at your convenience, at your own risk. There are so many houses around here with children in it. Everybody at their home right now in this hard season, a lot of us not working. And you're telling me I'll have to find the money from where it is to bury 2 people? That is unfair. You understand me? You cannot just be bursting shots like that. They're always doing that.
They're calling on the authorities to do something to stop such incidents. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
A move to comply with COVID-19 protocols has left vendors in the city in uproar. The Castries City Council has taken the decision to have no vendors along Jeremy Street, but the decision is not going down well with vendors. They say the new location reeks of filth.
The relocation of market vendors in a bid to comply with COVID-19 protocols is a source of contention for those affected. The disgruntled vendors say that their new location is bad for business. One vendor in particular says that while she is forced to move temporarily, she still has to pay for her booth inside the market. On top of that, the new location stinks.
The location is a back door. Nobody's not coming here to buy nothing from us. And the gutter is stinking there too. We have a gutter there that's smelling and the sun is really hot on our head there. I mean, they should look for a better, proper place to put us. That place is not good for us. It's not good. Even the people passing is complaining. While we're selling that the place is too. Where the trays, they cannot well pass down the sidewalk there. I mean, that is madness. And we're angry as vendors, and I'm talking on the behalf of all vendors because I'm really mad. You understand? You're telling people not to sell. If you don't want people to sell, you give them something because people have to see about themselves. They need to buy soap. I don't have nobody helping me now. The person I had it gone already.
Another vendor says the new area which has been designated for her is simply inappropriate.
So after I have my mask on, and that stench in my nose, I don't know if I must keep the mask properly on because of the stench. I know it's for the corona or for the stench. I mean, that is not fair because hair is not a dog food place. It's not a whatever I have there. You understand? Hair is a sport. Flower plants on people that come and sell flower plant because they have a large selection of that and they're selling flower plant. If you say you don't want people buy the thing, at least hair is not a spot for that because when the sun starts to go down, you have that bright sunlight in your face, burning you. People just run away from it. They just pass all in the market when they go and buy dinner because hair is so hot. I don't understand somebody staying with education and qualification, staying in an office and calculate. Hair is a place for people to come and hustle even 8 hours a day. I find it unbelievable.
The market manager says her office is doing all that it can to assist the vendors, but they also have to meet management halfway.
We have quite a few vendors, and we are trying to limit the close contact. Putting them there, most of them have their umbrellas. There are a few who might not have their umbrellas. They have to try to make arrangements. They have to try to help us. We are trying to help them. We do not want to close the market. We want people to earn their living. Some come early, they leave in a few hours' time. But for now, we are trying.
The vendors are hopeful that they will be able to revert to their prior locations after the 10-day curfew has expired. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, Prime Minister Shasley and Minister Guy Joseph on site at St. Jude for what they say are the finishing bits of the long-awaited project. A 4-year-old is injured in an accident, and drivers want more from the government, given the 10-passenger limit, and taxi drivers are outraged as well.